up, y'all? Today, we are going to talk about Black superheroes. Not just any Black superhero, but the next Black superhero to be getting a movie. And obviously, it ain't the Black Panther. We'll be talking Blade coming up. This is Be Real with D Real. What up, y'all? It's your man D Real, and edutainment's what I do, bringing you yet another Be Real with D Real. It's open season on all suckheads. I had to do that. I couldn't resist. I had to do that. Okay. If my poor impression was not any kind of indication, we're gonna be talking all things Blade. Well, I won't say all things Blade, but we'll be talking a lot of things Blade. So much to the point where I got to set up reference material. Okay. Blade, as I dug into my researching and putting together things to do this, I found Blade is a very deep and storied character beyond what a lot of people know. Blade made his debut in Tomb of Dracula #10 all the way back in 1973. Written by Marv Wolfman and drawn by the legendary Gene Colan. Now, as you may have noticed, Blade kind of sported an era-centric look. That he could probably rock that leather coat now, but it's just, I think it's the lower part of that outfit that just kind of makes it. And the specs, I'm glad, that they upgraded the specs. But here's the deal. The 1998 Blade movie and the continuity of Blade are kind of varied. And over the course of Blade's career, or should I say Eric Brooks, because that is his birth name, and he was born in London, England. Yes, Blade is British. Quite crazy. I know it's absolutely terrible, but hey, you got to deal with it. You just got to deal with it. And besides having superhuman strength, stamina, durability, a limited healing factor, and heightened senses, Blade is a martial arts master. He's mastered a lot of different unarmed forms of combat, but Blade's martial arts prowess shines tremendously with bladed weapons. So basically, Blade is a master with anything with an edge or a point on it. If he's got that, he can kill you. Back in the 70s, Blade would rock with wooden stakes and knives, and he just was out there by himself killing vampires with wooden stakes and knives. And this is where the comic book Blade diverges from the movie Blade. Blade in the comics, initially, he didn't have any superhuman abilities or strength other than what his mother being bit while she was giving birth to him by a vampire. Those enzymes made him immune to vampire bites. So that made him an ideal vampire hunter. You can't get turned by vampires, but they can still rip you apart or do all kinds of other things. So, Blade was doing his thizzle. Now, here's the thing. When Blade was young, as we all know, Blade was he was half vampire, at least anyway, so he wasn't sure about what he should be doing. So he kind of ran with vampires for a little while until they tried to jump this guy named Jamal Afar, a jazz trumpeter who was also a vampire hunter, and took young Eric under his wing and made him the vampire hunter that he is today. Sadly enough, Jamal Afar ended up being turned into a vampire, and so Blade had to, kill his former master. But Jamal is also the fellow who gave Blade his classic look with the shades, because jazz trumpeter used to rock shades. So there you go. And contrary to popular belief, Blade is not a loner by any stretch of the imagination. Blade has had team ups. In fact, he used to run with a vampire hunting team before he became known as Blade, because he was so proficient with Blade. That's why the vampire team started calling Eric Blade, because he was so sufficient, because he was so efficient with bladed weapons. That team got killed. That's when he took on the shades and took on the leather jacket and the qualities of all his homies that was in that vampire crew. And then he hunted solo for a little while. And his overall mission was to find Deacon Frost, the vampire who turned and killed his mother. Eventually, he got a chance to do that. He learned about teaming up with Quincy Harker, Rachel Von Helsing, Taj Natal. They had a vampire hunting crew. Then he teamed up with Frank Drake and Hannibal King, who was himself a vampire, and they became the Night Stalkers. He eventually got Deacon Frost and took his revenge, but then he ran afoul of Morbius. Now, Morbius is not a true vampire. Morbius is a man who had a blood disease and was trying to cure it using bat DNA and ended up turning himself into a living vampire. Well, Blade ran afoul of this fellow. They got into a fight and he bit he bit Blade. And because he was not a true vampire, the enzymes that he got into Blade's system actually made Blade into one. And so that's when Blade started getting the thirst, and he was having to fight the urges and that kind of thing, like what you see in the movies. Then there was a time when Blade was on a mission for Dr. Doom, where Dr. Doom, that Dr. Doom, where Dr. Doom sent Blade back in time to free his mother from a prison. And, Doom is the kind of cat, if you do me a solid, I do you a solid. Doom gave Blade a formula and told him, this will cure your vampirism. He was skeptical of it, so he didn't take it. Dr. Doom, one of the smartest, if not the smartest man on earth, gives you a formula and says it cures you of vampirism. I know. He always has ulterior motives for doing things, but come on, it's Dr. Doom, because later on, Blade gave that same formula to, I think it was Hannibal King, and that cured Hannibal King of his vampirism. But Blade said the reason he gave it to him was because he was going to need his vampiric edge to take on the new infestation of vampires that had just started popping up and cropping up all over the earth. He fell in for a time unofficially with a group of S.H.I.E.L.D. called Silver Eye, who was trying to, they were trying to make vampire super soldiers. And they captured Blade and tried to brainwash him into being one of the vampire soldiers, or howling commando, if you will, in their organization. Blade eventually spanked them all, knocked them off, and went on to eventually temporarily join the Mighty Avengers on the recommendation of Monica Rambeau, aka Spectrum at the time. See, Black heroes stick together. Yeah, you hang out. We heard about you. You killing up the vampires. So I'm going to recommend you for at least temporary Avengers membership. And the thing about it was, Blade had to dress up. Well, he didn't have to, but he was dressed up like the superhero Ronin, who wears a full mask. So nobody knew who he was until, boom, reveal. Oh my God, it's Blade. Yeah. But Blade did recently in Avengers Volume 5, yeah, 60s, Heroes Reborn, Volume 5, Avengers Volume 5, number 16. Blade officially joins the Avengers. That was 2019. As of right now, Blade is currently an Avenger. Did I tell you something about Blade that you didn't know 10 minutes ago? Well, if I did, let me know what I told you that you did not know about Blade in the comments below. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe to the Be Real with D Real page so that you can get alerts when new videos drop. That's it for now, y'all. And I'm going to be back with another one. And until then, y'all be good to each other.